Good evening, folks. Hope everybody's week is going well. We're about halfway to the weekend here, which I just noticed. Sometimes I thought those were footprints your character left. I guess a random little thing they added in. Interesting. Anyways, we're back here at Tuba River. Going to try some more telescopic action out here. I did have some luck earlier today off camera over here in the pond, and teeny bit of luck over here. So we've got a couple spots I can try out. I've lost quite a bit of silver out here so far, between last night only making less than 100 silver in less than an hour, and then promptly after the stream I had 2 line tears, one of which was a very expensive hook and float setup. I'm barely breaking even out here so far. See, I'm up to 646 silver with several hours of fishing out here. So it hasn't been going well, but let's hope that we change that tonight. Third time's the charm. Hey, Cappy, how you doing tonight? You out there doing the carp fishing with everybody else right now? I've been seeing a lot of carp coming up today. Doing well, thank you. Hoping that we can actually profit out here tonight. I've done a little bit better off camera today. Last night it was just terrible out here. You got all the carp out of bear. Well, imagine you got a good bit of XP and silver out of it at least. Let's see, right around here. I had just a really bad time on here last night after the stream ended. I lost got a couple line tears. One of them was on one of my expensive rigs, which was like a 53 silver hook and a 15 silver float. So hopefully I won't have a repeat of that. I overshot my spot completely. Very nice. Sounds like you get chugging right along there. You'll be at Tunguska before you know it. All right, so we're gonna try for the grass carp here. Have been pretty good. I just have to be careful because one of the things that stacked my line out here was a giant grass carp that was an insta snap. Hey, Canadian, how's it going? Hoping for better luck out here tonight. I was doing okay out here earlier today, but as you saw last night, but between the stream being pretty uneventful and then after the stream getting multiple line tears on the big rods, it was brutal. One of the line tears must have been like a trophy grass carp or something, because it was on the falcon rod, and it was literally as soon as I set the hook, the thing just completely filled red and snapped the line. So that must have been at least a 30 plus kilo carp one. Working towards the sea setup. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. You're not too far away from getting to the level, and a good setup for there is pretty expensive. Ooh, tonight's tea is apricot. A little bit toasty though. And I'm getting very close. I'm only 0.3 away from unlocking cobras. So hopefully that will help things out once I unlock that. Well, Yama I think is pretty good for spinning. Tunguska I'm not really sure, but I know Yama can be scary with spinning because you get some of those taimen and whatnot that just tear your line like crazy. But I'm looking forward to Tunguska. I really want to give this map more of a chance, so I'm going to keep messing with. I missed whatever that was, but the biggest difficulty here is that for telescopic fishing, there's just so much variance in depths. And when you combine varying depth with current, it just gets really difficult to set a good depth on your telescopic to make use of it. Pond's been much more forgiving. The biggest issue I'll have here, other than occasionally getting a really big fish to tear the line, is it seems like this is a windier map than normal. Like right now it's 4.2 meters per second. It's bearable, but several times I've been out here, it's been like 9 meters per second or higher, which makes using telescopic pretty difficult because your line gets very inaccurate on the cast and it's blowing the floats all around. So even on a still part like this, your stuff will slowly drift away. It's very hot in game right now as well, which may be an issue. Probably this pond's probably not going to be as active because of that. I imagine everything's probably in the deeper water. We'll stick around here for a little bit, then once it's time to relog to activate happy hour, we can try another spot if this spot doesn't. Yep. I did pick up several more regional and water body records out here earlier, though. It's fun. Again, US region with ultralight telescopic, it's like cheating, but take a look at some of these here. Go to US region, ultralight. Haven't seen what. Yeah, so here, Eastern Bream, I've got the largest. That's pretty nice on the that one. The others, I think I got like regular Bream somewhere in there. Yeah, 4th place, and a few other random fish on there. But always fun to get those regional and water body records. I still really wish they would do the weekly automated rewards. Like keep the global ones as they are, but add a lesser one per region. 20,000. That's just for one setup. Ugh. But I mean, the good news is once you have that set up, you're going to be able to get a lot of fish on it that are going to pay really well. So you'll make that back pretty quickly. Once you get to the sea. All right, first decent fish of the night. Looks like it's probably going to be like a 3 kilo grass carp. Actually, it's almost 5 kilos. Not bad, not bad. I haven't got any buffalo today. I've seen a lot of black buffalo records come up, so they're hidden somewhere. Hey, Free Rolling, how's it going? Welcome back. Just another night out here at Tuba. Hopefully a more fruitful one than last night was. So far, it's been decent. Got a couple grass carps already. Yep, well, you'll figure it out, Cappy. I mean, if you're getting carp like that, and that silver will come pretty quickly, I'm sure. But it is a long road. That's one thing about the marine fishing setup is it's a long road to get all of it bought. But once you do, you'll be able to start pulling in those huge deep sea fish that are worth like 1,000 silver a piece. You know, some of the top players like Genji, that's on M-Dog's Discord. He's one of the top-rated players as far as total time played in general. But he posted a picture of all the setups he has in his backpack, and I think someone calculated it. And just the rods, he had like over 2 million silver in rods. It's crazy. It seems like people are making pretty good money on Bear Lake while that spot's been active. I saw a forum post where someone was getting like 600 or 700 silver an hour. Quite good. I'd be there if it weren't for the fact that not having spot or PVA just really kills the bite rate. 1 kilo grass carp. Where's everybody else fishing tonight, though? That I know Poppy's used up all the fish at Bear Lake, so. Seems like there's still a few people going. I look to see Terror on in-game going after some asps somewhere. Might be here, actually. Still seeing a lot of carp caught as well. I think we've got a gibble. Decent. Still haven't got my trophy gibble or crucian to complete the challenge for telescopic rank 2. Come very close. I've gotten several that are like within 100 grams of being a trophy. Another gibble here. Oh yeah, but yeah, no, he's on stream every now and then. I'm having some pickup stream lately, but yeah, we've got I've got my channel here, and I've got a backlog of my VODs on YouTube where you can watch that, because with Twitch it only stores the record or an archive of streams for like 14 days. So I just upload all of my streams to YouTube when they're about to expire on Twitch. But I've got a lot on here. It's Bolo and Match Rod and stuff like that. I haven't really delved into. I tried Bolo like once, and it just wasn't for me. But so advice for starting off, I think the best map to really get your hands dirty with telescopic especially is Seversky Donets, because there's a wide range of species. The fish are fairly small, so you don't need one of the heavy duty rigs. And if you get a good ultralight rig, you can bring in the fish pretty quickly. Now, if you can afford a few red sticks, these are an 8 kilo capacity, and they're not too expensive. I think they're like 200 silver each. If you're high enough level, Ladoga Lake has a really, really good spot right now, which is the most insane bite rate I've seen in the game. So it's really good for training your float skill percentage up. So getting up to 80%, for example, to unlock sandwich baits is a huge improvement. So if you have access to Ladoga Lake, I would recommend maybe picking up a few red sticks and going out there to get your float skill up. And if you want to go for more general XP and silver, then Seversky would be the way to go. But with Seversky, I also recommend to really maximize the XP out there, going for, if you have the silver for it, getting an Onega, one of these Onega soul poles, which is fine for most of the fish you're going to get in the dock area there. But it's an ultralight, so you get the extra 100% XP bonus. So you'll tear through XP that way. Little tiny grass carp on the ultralight. And as far as the Ladoga spot goes, that one, the video is being uploaded to YouTube this week. I think the first one's already up. Are my trips out there to the spot that's really good. It's a seriously incredible bite rate there. It's like often 2 or 3 fish per minute. So getting those skill gains just flies by. But you'll want to stock up on the bait before you go out there, because there is the tackle shop there does have a cost penalty. So a batch of the bait there costs more than it will at that's on the big on the ultralight. It may not, yeah, I didn't think that was going to happen. Fortunately, sometimes the grass carp here do go for my ultralight. Yeah, you know, a lot of people do use the HSV at the sea as their starter option, and it seems to do okay. All right, looks like I float. And the other thing when you're learning, I mean, really even late game, don't take expensive hooks out there on your telescopics, because as you just saw, it can go sideways in an instant and you'll lose your hook. So keep cheap ones on there though. Like my go-to is the Happy Hook. They're like 12 silver each. Yeah, no problem. Happy to help. Some ducks quacking nearby. All right, got something halfway decent on here. Another grass carp, it looks like. Yep, almost 3 kilo. Yeah, I have really been enjoying telescopic fishing. Even like Tuba's been a little frustrating for me, but overall I really enjoy it. It's I think it's a really engaging form of fishing in the game. It's certainly not as generally as profitable as spin fishing or bottom fishing. A little common carp there, but So if you're worried about progressing with silver and XP and everything quicker, it's not going to be the meta way to play. But I just have a lot more fun with it because you're having to keep an eye on the floats constantly. You've got the narrow window for setting the hook and juggling the tension and stuff like that. Keeps you on your toes. Yeah, I hear that. I'm looking forward to maybe once I get like boat rods and everything, I think I'll enjoy the sea more. And I am going to try to do some shoreline fishing at the sea. But what you start with, like I've done 2 of the 3 trips out there where you get the rental rod and all you can really do initially is just perking. And I found the perking to be very boring. It's just drop your line in the water and then jerk it a few times and then reel straight up. So that wasn't particularly engaging enough for me, but I know with boat rods and stuff like that, it does get better. But the actual initial perking just was not that great for me. Trolling is all right. Bottom fishing, like I enjoy the fights of bottom fishing. Like if your setup is underpowered and you get a big carp on there and you gotta walk the lake with it, that's pretty fun. But it just doesn't have the level of interactivity that telescopic fishing has. Nibble on line 3 here. And the other tip I had, once you have 3, or really just more than 1 telescopic that you're going to have out at a time, use distinctly different shapes of floats. I don't have that going right now because I lost one of my floats there with that line tear, but makes it a lot easier to tell which line has bites on it, so you know which one to pick up. And additional skills that are really useful, which I'm actually going to do some scooping now. The bait harvesting is very, very good to level up for float fishing. And ground bait making is also, once you're ready to start taking on the bigger fish, it is good to level ground baits up. Because you can use them as, while you don't have feeder cages or anything to put ground baits on your setup, you can use them with cobras and slingshots and stuff like that to help the bite rate. The good news is ground bait is luckily one of the easier ones and honestly a lot cheaper, in my opinion, to train than bait harvesting, at least for a good bit of levels, because you can buy the pull it up here, materials, somewhere. There we go. This handmade feed you can get at Winding Rivulet in the farmer's market is super cheap, so you can use it as the base when you're training for a ground bait skill up. And just basically, for a while, you can make ground baits with just using that, and then you kind of just add in whatever the latest unlocked flavor additive is along with it. So it's a very cost-effective way to train the skill. Something I need to get back to training, because mine's at 40-something%. I need to really get that up to like 60 or 70, but I'll get to it eventually. And for skills, once I bring this fish in, have an opportunity, I'll bring up and go over a couple of those telescopic skills for you. It's just nibbling away. Might be a small fish in there. Nope. Probably spooked it with that. That's all right. Okay, so for float fishing, for telescopic fishing, normally other fishing types, you go like maybe 3 or 4 points into the rod to get a little extra distance. Telescopic, you need to take all points in this because you don't have any other way to improve your cast distance or your fish control. So you absolutely want to take all points in telescopic rod, which interestingly, I was kind of surprised to find applies to bolo rods as well. I don't know why it wouldn't be like match rods and bolo rods, but you get a free bonus out of doing that. But do that and max out your rig with fixed line, because that's what you're going to be using most of the time. And that's absolutely where I would do the initial point investments for the skill. That's this one. Yeah, the Common Comfort honestly is still pretty good. Even at the Ladoga, I used the Common Comfort for a while as well, but I had the 5-meter one, so you get a much less cast distance for it, which another thing to note with telescopics, shorter rods are the ones you want to use if you're on a boat, for example. If you have like these 8-meter rods on a boat, most of the time you won't even be able to bring the fish in. So you want longer rods when you're fishing from the shoreline. If you're fishing from the boat or like a large, a high up dock or something like that, you want the shorter rods. My recommendation is to stick with the longer rods when training. Boat fishing with a telescope is kind of like end game action, where you're going to be using slider rigs to get into deep areas and stuff like that. I would try to aim for 7 and 8-meter rods. Some little roach here. I've got one Caspian roach out here, which was interesting. Yeah, there was something nibbling on one and dragged it to the side there, but not nibbling anymore. And also, I would highly recommend for bait harvesting, throwing your points into for the scoop and the shovel. That extra % chance to get the additional baits is well worth it, because some of those, especially like algae, you'll use a lot. Algae's otherwise, as far as I know, is only buyable with gold. There may be one lake somewhere where you can buy it with silver, but algae is a very, very popular bait. It's actually what I'm using on my left coast rod right now. As far as ultralight options go, early on I picked up the Kama Ultra telescopics. They were okay, but they don't have much capacity at all. So like when I was using my Seversky, for example, I did a big Sichel or something on there, it would snap the line. At Ladoga Lake, I lost an obscene amount of hooks using those. So if you want to get the ultralights, I'd recommend skipping those and saving up for the Onega Soul Pole, which is going to, it's like 1600 silver, but will last quite a while. Hey there, Andel. Welcome to the stream. I can't tell if the what you're typing didn't come through quite right there. Ah, it's Russian, that's why. Welcome. Unfortunately, I can't read Russian, but we're just out here doing some telescopic fishing. Welcome to the stream. Let's see, float-wise, you also, another thing to note on reading your scope stuff on the test, it's pretty important to keep note of. So like ultralight, for example, is only a 1 to 5 gram test. So you're gonna have to use lighter weight floats, for example, on those. Very important to keep that in mind, because if you go out there with a heavy tackle, it makes it a lot easier for the fish to snap the line. Got a nibble on 3 here. Not quite ready to set the hook yet. Biggest thing you'll learn with telescopic is patience. Sometimes these guys will just nibble forever. And you'll also learn there's really not a good guide to it, because each fish species kind of has a different way they'll bite. Some of them, for example, you'll see them take the float down and it'll completely submerge the float, but it's not ready to hook to set yet. They'll let go, the float will come back to the surface, and then they'll bring it down again and you'll set it. So that's kind of just something you'll learn with experience when you're fishing at different spots. You'll get an idea of when you need to set the hook. So that's what, well, you know, it's everybody's entitled to their opinion. The pink hair is actually from a viewer poll a few months ago we did. I did a special stream where people could vote on, I had a whole bunch of different color options and viewers voted on what color to dye my hair, and pink was the winning vote. So that's what I went with. I'll have another one of those probably in the next few weeks because this pink's pretty washed out. If you see some of the old videos when it first happened, it was very, very bright. It's a lot of it is washed out now, so it's about time to work on getting a different color. Yeah, you'll definitely, even my most experienced spots, they'll all still miss bites. It's the fish are definitely finicky. More happy hour, Cappy? Hey, can't complain about that. All right, so it's just about time. I'm gonna wait till probably wait till it's about time for the sun to come up, and I'm going to relog to trigger happy hour. Go check the spot over here that wasn't too bad for me, or actually further up here. You can check that, see if it's got any action going on. Maybe pick up some big head carp or something. Nibble here. We have loud birds on this map. Got a little bit of a hit on line one there. Yeah, the wild carp is definitely one I'm looking forward to getting some more of. I've got quite a few wild carp so far, but I haven't gotten a single marker one. All been small. One thing that's kind of saved me on profit is when I was missed it. I was fishing earlier. I got several grass carp around just over 4 kilo, and there was a cafe order for one 4 kilo grass carp that was like 49 silver. So that was nice. Yeah, wild carp come in a crazy range because I know some of the records are like 40 something kilo, and I don't know if maybe those are caught over on the Sura River and they're bigger there or what, but they seem to average on the small side here. All right, we got just a couple more minutes here until it's time to relog to trigger happy hour, and maybe we'll get lucky and I'll get that last little bit of XP I need to unlock cobras, which I did do some research on them. They do work the way I assumed they would. The downside is I looked at the pricing. There's some for like, they start around 200 silver all the way up to 1,000. And it seems like the ones that are the more expensive you get, the more accurate they are, and the more fine-tuned amount of ground bait you put in. It seems like the small ones, you have to load them up with a ton of ground bait, which is expensive and also can overfeed the area. Nice, only 1% to go, just about there. I know that PVA is going to make a difference too. It's kind of like the SPOD, and then you get the PBA. When you get the two combined, it's just fight rate city. Something keeps like knocking into the line one there, but go. Yeah, looks like another roach. Oh, 1% to 80. Ah, gotcha. It's I've definitely seen like once you get past like 75%, you really notice the slowdown in skill gains. Even with happy hour, when I was at the Ladoga Lake bite rate, I went from going and getting like around 1.5% for happy hour out there to getting like maybe 0.5%. I did notice some news today when I was checking through Steam notification updates. Looks like the fishing clubs are now released in Fishing Planet along with their new pull-up mechanics and stuff like that. So I may see like I definitely always want to reserve this time slot for Russian fishing, but I may look into doing some occasional Fishing Planet streams on there. Maybe start a fishing club because it looks like you can get different benefits from that. Where hydrate, you got it. Hydrated. Seems like the fishing clubs on there can give like XP bonuses, item rewards, and you can organize events better, stuff like that. So they seem to be really doubling down on the community aspects of Fishing Planet, which I think is a good thing. It's the community aspect, I think, is the biggest weakness, other than the snags. Snags are hands down the biggest weakness in Russian fishing. They can, in my opinion, they can just get rid of the entire mechanic. But yeah, the community aspect, I think, is the weakest part of RF4. Like, we've got community chat rooms and we have like the competitions, but the competitions are very restrictive in how they work. And that's, I think, its biggest drawback. So I'm curious to see how interested you guys are in maybe doing a Fishing Planet stream like once or twice a week, a little before the Russian fishing stream. We could all like get together, play in a fishing club, and progress through the ranks together or something like that. If that's something you guys would be interested in, let me know. Gameplay wise, RF4 is way better as far as the simulation. When I played Fishing Planet a few years ago, I got to like level 48 or something like that, and like RF4 is definitely the superior game for the fishing aspect of it. But I think it'd be fun with the strongest point of Fishing Planet is the community aspect, and with the marine stuff coming out where they're going to have multiplayer boats where we can all go out on the ship together and stuff. I think there's be some fun opportunities for us all to play as a community and do some cool stuff. Will you be down, Canadian? I'll get Fishing Planet updated this later this week and take a look and see how all that stuff works and get an idea of get something put together for it. Be a fun little thing to do. Another grass carp here. Ooh, almost 6 kilo there. Hey, a float fishing game. 0.2% away, and we haven't even started the happy hour yet. We may just unlock those cobras tonight. Is anyone here familiar with, have they played Call of the Wild, the Angler? 'Cause I'm curious if it's got the same stupid grind system that Call of the Wild, the Hunter has for getting like diamonds and, I guess diamond and that one was the highest, but I guess there's legendary and fishing one, where you have to kind of like grind the same animal like 1,000 times to get the diamond species to appear. I don't know if the Angler has that same mechanic or if it's implemented better. See, I think, all right, so the sun will be coming up in just a minute, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the relog so we can get happy hour brought in and pull it back in here. Talking about Fishing Planet or Call of the Wild the Angler there, Cappy? You know, Call of the Wild the Angler is very different from Fishing Planet and Russian Fishing. It's the Angler, yeah, it's like you can have multiplayer where someone can host and a few people can play, but yeah, that's a lot of what I've heard free roll, and I have the game, but I never ended up playing it. That got one is like on sale for like $6, but I haven't played it because I heard so much negativity. At some point I'll probably play it just for the heck of it, but the progression is cool in it. Oh, you like, so you like progression, it doesn't offer it. Okay, yeah, it's weird. And see, like I felt like the opposite in the Call of the Wild the Hunters. Let me pull up my I've got some coordinates written down here. Let me make sure I'm at the right spot, because it's one of those spots that has no real indication of what's there, like no reads or anything. Looking for 51-138. What I did like in Call of the Wild the Hunter was that it's like right here, I guess, you get locked out of using various things because you have to use something over and over again to unlock the ability to use it. Yeah, so I have Way of the Hunter and Call of the Wild the Hunter, and I played a lot of the Hunter. I just, when it came to like going after diamond species, I think they could have implemented that better. But it's a very fun game to relax in. Yeah, it'll definitely get the graphics cards heating up. All right, let's try 2.5 meter here. Boy, let me change the baits out. Let's go with Nightcrawler and Wheat Seed, because that's what the wild carp or big carp and silver carp like to go for. I don't know if there'll be buffalo here or not. I don't want to throw this one out there for this. Well, before we stick at this spot too long, let me see if Shemaya are biting, because that's the main thing I wanted to try at this spot. And if the Shemaya are not biting, then I think we'll go over to the other spot where there's some carp and also buffalo. I'm hoping we'll hear something soon from the devs of RF4, what their plans are for the next map, because I think they mentioned, didn't they say they were going to release some info about the next map sometime this year after Norway came out? All right, we got something on here. It's fighting like a chub. Nope, looks like a big rudd actually. Yep. Hey, we're just about there. As I always joke about, everyone's looking forward to the next fishing style in this game being fly fishing, but I think it needs to be dual-wheel telescopic fishing. Just have a rod in each hand, flicking them back and forth. Doesn't seem like the Shemaya. If the Shemaya are active, they're going to hit these things quick. Okay, so it is supposed to be coming soon. All right, good to hear. Good to hear. I'm still of the opinion that they should release at like level 20 a mirror copy of Norway, but just without the boat. So it's just like the short fishing from the shore. I think that'd be a great way to give people an opportunity to sort of work on their marine fishing ahead of it, and get a taste for the deep sea fishing and work on getting saltwater resistant gear put together and stuff without having to be at the very end game levels. Nibble here, let's see what it's going to be. We got something going after the other line as well. Looks like a bleak, probably? Nah, no, it's a base. Did bite that, but looks like they're not biting. Yeah, I'd love to see the community aspects of RF4 worked on a bit. I don't think we'll see it with its simulation engine reach the point where, like on Fishing Planet, where you're able to see other fishermen alongside you and stuff like that. That's asking a lot of processing power for this engine. But like the tournaments, for example, I think that's the competitions. I think there's a lot of room for improvement in that system that I'm sure muster up. And I'd also like to see cooking in specific skills be made more useful. Like there's all those, I think crafting is the most unique feature of RF4 compared to its competition. None of the other games really bother with crafting. So I'd love to see them double down and improve all the crafting systems. Another nibble. Which I think the lure making, and I mean, the bait harvesting, ground bait, and all those I think are great, but like cooking feels like a wasted potential, because you can make all these different things, but why bother when you can just have pickles and tea? Looks like Terror in game is out here at Act Tuba going after sturgeon and barbel. Sorry to hear that, Cappy. I guess that may make sense why it was docile enough to bring in. Sorry to hear it, though. Did what you could, at least. Another dace there. A couple more minutes here to see if a Shemaya hits. If not, I'll move over to the spot over here where I've been able to catch buffalo and carp. See, after Cobra, the next monster we get. So I don't know if these can be used on telescopics or not. I'd be interested to find that out once we get there. Assuming they can. Yeah, I don't know, like, maybe there's, a lot of places will have, like, where you can apply for special permits to get species like that. I don't know if your area does something along those lines. But those, sometimes it's hard to meet the qualifications. Like, I wanted to get a Savannah cat, which is kind of like it's a breed, like kind of a crossbreed between just a domestic cat and a serval cat. But the problem is they're still classified pretty much as a serval cat. And in my area, in order to own those legally, you have to have a vet that's certified to see that kind of animal within a certain mileage of your house. And fortunately, I couldn't. None of the vets within that distance qualified for me. Still missed it. €70 out there. At least it sounds like there's an option you can get at some point, though. Something to work for. One species I've always been interested in is skunks. If you, I mean, obviously you have to get their scent glands removed when they're young and everything, but from what I gather, they're very cat-like, which I think is pretty interesting. So one thing I'd recommend Captain V is there's a lot of like Facebook groups and stuff like that for more exotic pets and things of that nature. So you might be able to find a good Facebook group that can point you in the right direction. And a lot of times people in there are always wanting to help people out with like old enclosures and stuff like that. Be a good place to start looking. You know, everyone's knocking Yama, but no one talks about the bear out there. That's really the main reason I'm ready to get to Yama, is to get mauled by the bear. Yeah, the fennec foxes are really cute. Although it seems from what I've read on them, any fox species is very very high maintenance, like, because they're so, well, they're very active creatures and they love to burrow and stuff like that. So they're like, they kind of as a pet, you really have to have a good enclosure that you can keep an eye on them all the time and stuff like that. They're very very high maintenance, but very cute. I like the little sand cats. Have you ever seen those? You can't get those, as far as I know. I don't think you can get those legally as pets anywhere. They're not super. I don't think they're quite endangered, but they're close. But they're a small cat breed that have like very flat faces with wide ears. They're almost like a fennec fox of the feline variety, but they're really cute looking. Yeah, ferrets are fun. They're another one that. If you have a ferret, you gotta have no hiding places in your house, or they will find stuff and hide it like crazy. A lot of my friends that have ferrets, their ferrets will find some place like behind a couch or something like that, and years later they'll move that couch and all sorts of stuff that the ferret has stolen is hidden back there. All right, so this spot's not doing great. So let's go ahead and try that other spot out. And if it, oh, I ran out of mayflies as well. So let me grab another batch of those on the way. But if the other spot doesn't work, well, Canadian, letting them get away again. We'll head back to the pond. I know the pond is active enough. Just like to get some of those other carp species in buffalo if I can. Yeah, especially like dogs, especially where there's a depending on the breed of dog, some of them it's very dangerous to keep a ferret because their natural hunting instincts can kick in, and the ferret starts running, their instinct will take over and they'll chase it and play a little too rough. Definitely have had, you know, my uncle had a ferret that their Dalmatian ended up playing too rough and it broke the ferret's neck. It's definitely something you gotta be careful of. And how am I doing on caddisfly? Because those are good as well. 5 pieces. Let's grab some more of those. Go. All right, on to the spot. One species that you could never have as a pet for all sorts of legal reasons on top of cost everything, but species I'm always fascinated by are vultures. We have a lot of turkey vultures around here, and they're fascinating to watch in the wild because they have a really intricate social structure. They'll have like lookouts and stuff like that. It's really cool to watch. All right, so we're gonna try this spot down here and hopefully get us some some carp and buffalo. Oh, cool. You can have those as yeah, I think like here, like you can, if you have like a conservation license, you can have them, but that's about it. That's pretty cool though. Yeah, all very neat species. I love going to bird shows and stuff like that, getting to interact with them. Using a raccoon to steal stuff. Yeah, you know, speaking of pets to steal things and ferrets, old 80s movie you've never seen, I recommend checking out the old Beastmaster series. And that one, I can't remember the depth here. I'm going to have to fine tune this a little bit, but the character in that has a pair of ferrets that he uses to steal from his enemies. Pretty neat. Try 3 meter. So this right here is the worst part of learning a map on telescopic, is figuring out and remembering all of the depth. Which, you know, a lot of maps are, there's not a huge variety in depths, but Tuba is like it's different depths all over the place. So you it takes a while to figure these out. If you have access to marker rods, it's a lot easier. But I do not. This might be a good setting. All right, 2.8. We'll keep it at that. Which means this needs to be at like 3.4-ish. Because with the carp hair and pop-up rigs, you have to account for the length of the feeder leader. Yeah, it might be a little, when it gets pulled in, it's a little bit too shallow. So let's pull it. Go. There's some mayflies on here. This is, all right, this is a little bit too deep. Let's bring that up a little bit. Might actually still, oh, here we go. All right, what do we got? What do we got? Looks like common carp or wild carp, one of the two. A wild carp, all right. Here we go. Found him. I appreciate the follow there, Pyro. Welcome to the stream. It's a weekly there. So with carp hair rigs and pop-up rigs, you want the float to be just under the surface of the water, so the little top part though that sticks up is above it, but the actual top of the float is under. That lets you know that your bait's sitting just above the bottom of the water. Some nibbles here. And just to spice things up, let's try to throw some ground bait out there. Like whatever bit that wasn't too interested. All right, so still no marker wild carp out here for me. One day I'll grab one. Getting weeklies. I think I even got a regional record wild carp here that was still not a marker. Look, see if we looked at the ultralight. Let me go through the telescopic records for US here. Am I on top of any of these yet? Doesn't even look like. I think it's mostly the ultralights I'm topping. Eastern Green there, and a few other random ones. Apparently Genji's been out here. Okay, nibble on 3. I'm gonna recast 1 after I bring that up. It's in a bit of an awkward spot there. See, catching some Ventus there. Cap, you got Ladoga or Quarry? Too far from the rods. Whoops. Not entirely. While I'm waiting for that to rebite, I'm gonna go ahead and cast this back out as well as line 2. A little bit of a refresh. Ladoga, nice. Doing some trolling out there, or are you fishing from the shoreline? Ah, good old Tele out there. I do miss the bite rate of that spot. It's just out of control. You'll get some nice trophies while you're there. No left for mush and fish, and I think Terror, along with me, have all gotten a bunch of trophies out of that spot. So it's a good one to try for. Ducks quacking away again. We're not doing great on our catches so far. I haven't managed to crack the code here on Tuba yet. I know there's got to be a good active spot that I can get to somewhere. Just haven't found it. Ah, I missed out. Put up a little bit too soon. I know eventually when I rent a boat, these 2 bins down here are supposed to be really good spots for telescopic. Being good spots and being active are 2 different things, and I'm just worried about spending the silver on a boat ticket and going down there and it not being active at all. Another thing I did ask on the Discord and got some verification. I had followed some guides I found that are a little outdated that said for Falcon TL800 to use this ultra line that's 19.1 capacity instead of using the power line that you can get that goes up to like 20.6 or something like that. So not really, I assumed that there was a good reason for that, but as far as I can tell, there's actually not. So once I eventually upgrade those, and that's going to give me an extra kilo of fighting strength on the 2 Teles, which will be nice, but that's like 100 silver in line, so I'm not ready to do that just yet. Like this spot's not doing a whole lot either. Let's try changing the bait out on. Let's do a dough of some sort. Let's go with honey dough and let's throw some red worm on there. See what that gets. I do like sandwich bait for the ability to just test 2 different baits and see what you get. Doubles your ability to test things out. All right, what do we have here? Looks like another wild carp, I think. Yep. Still no marker though. Grab us some more algae, hopefully. didn't get any. I'm using a lot of algae going after those grass carp though. And a little over a minute here, we're going to have a short ad break. That's just to prevent the pre-roll ads. We'll keep along fishing through them. Ooh, so this apricot tea, it tastes good at first, but it's one of those teas that as it seeps longer, it starts to get a little overpowering in the taste. Okay, see if I can pull this in quick enough to get whatever is on line one. Doesn't look like stupid perch. You're not enough fish on your own, and then you make me miss something on the line one. What a jerk. That's this again. I wish they had this long slender float available in multiple color options. I think as far as the float options go, I like it the best for visibility, but not having additional colors makes it so if you got a current, it's hard to tell which line you're looking at. That was another weekly on the wild carp. We got the wild carp telescopic weekly is just about filled up here, don't we? Yep, all 5 on all manner of baits. I've got a lot of the weeklies here right now for telescopic, which is nice. Yeah, good. Not that I'll win anything because I feel like the Chinese and Russian servers just have different species because the size differences they get is compared to the U.S. region is just night and day. There's no competing. Gibble carp there. Looks like a crucian carp, I think. Yep. If I can get a trophy crucian gibble, that'd be nice so I can finally complete that task, but no such luck so far. That looks like a perch, really? Oh, come on, man. I'm after my size 1/0 hook. A little cucumber action. Yeah, looks like we've got probably another gibble. Yep. Tiny one. Still no skill gain during this happy hour. I just need 1 gain to unlock those cobras. So it's just run into the little embankment down there or something, made it go sideways. All right, make this one a little bit more shallow because it seems to not be doing anything and is also not really floating. I think it was caught on the bottom there. Like a tiny, tiny gibble. Look at that big XP. 7. Woo! Those are the gibble that I wish I could go ahead and preparing to fit to bait fish at this point. We've got some more nibbles here. And I'll check my stream in a second here because it looks like it's bit rates dropped a bit. So I'll take a look and see what's going on as soon as I bring this fish in. Never takes the hook. There we go. A decent little rud. Let me go ahead and have them make sure. All right, so I'm going to go to the standby screen for just a second to try and refresh the stream a little bit here since it's got a bit of a bit rate issue at the moment. Right back. All right, let's see if it's catched up a little bit here. Got something looks like a big gibble on the line. Still not a trophy. I'm not quite sure what this. I think it's probably my my connection may be a little bit garbled right now. There's a tropical storm. It's probably got a lot of people checking their weather streams and everything. So I'll keep an eye on it here. Fortunately, there's not a whole lot I can do about it. I got the, I did what I could. And here it's just the connection doing its thing. Ah, I missed whatever that was. Running low on night crawlers here. test it again. Yeah. Another little gibble carp, it looks like. Doesn't seem like the connection is refreshing itself. I'm still seeing a lot of red on the bit rate. Double check that off. If that improves it a little bit, it's going to put me